Wired for sound.
When are we going to start?
After you leave the room. Show's got to have theme music.
Yeah.
Don't criticize the format.
I'm
you
not.
bastard.
I'm not.
It's not about you, Terry. I like the season 4 theme by the rendition by the lovely Roger Pleasant of Uprise Studios. But we're going to stop it right now. Welcome to Big Words I Know by Heart, a program of rants, raves, faves, pet peeves, personal vendettas, celebrity interviews, and anything else we can fill the half hour with. My guest today is a mixed media filmmaker. I will talk over you. Mixed media filmmaker, author, and sound engineer who created an entirely new genre in 2012 with Liberteria, an opera created entirely online and acted out by machinima, or digital avatars. The opera was followed by a trilogy of compendium novels entitled Liberteria Genesis and Liberteria Revelation, with a third on the way in 2018.
Mm-hmm. Fingers crossed.
She's also proficient in audio engineering, film editing, special effects, makeup, musical technology, lectures, and public speaking, including a TEDx Buffalo talk on the topic of virtual opera. I'm humbled to welcome Sabrina Pena Young. Welcome, Sabrina. Joining us in the co-host hot seat is disgraced and deposed elf on a shelf, Terry Kimmel.
Buongiorno.
Terry, you're a vital part of the show.
I know I am.
We'll get the camera away from you, Terry. Sabrina, thank you for being here so close to the holidays.
And thank you for having me.
We had a nice little time before the show to sort of break the ice. So I hope you are ready for these questions.
I'm as ready as I can be.
How do you respond to the claims that you're just another machinima opera composer creator and a long line of them?
I've never heard that because I think I'm the only one. Actually, what's interesting is that there have been a couple of other people that have tried to go ahead and create one after they saw what I did. But I think, so far as I know, I think Liberteria may be the only original animated machinima opera like in the world. So that was completed and done.
In a way, you're saying nobody can bite your style.
Yeah, I don't think anybody wants to be honest. It's a little too weird, esoteric.
You forged an amazing path. I watched the film front to back last night. It was very entertaining, very moving, very emotional.
Thank you.
And horrifying that a lot of it came true already.
Yeah. Actually, that's kind of interesting. I was mentioning beforehand that we were watching it at Buffalo Dreams Fantastic Film Festival about a year ago. And it was really interesting because some of the things that had happened in the film actually were happening now, and, you know, government surveillance and some of the crazy things that have happened since. So I don't know. Maybe I'm partially Nostradamus or whatever.
Predictive programming, perhaps?
Perhaps, or I'm just weird.
Were there agents of Flonase who tried to sabotage the film after it was... I don't know.
No,
that was the joke I was going to do. I
Flonase.
should have just let the joke do.
Agents of Flonase.
Agents of Flonase?
That should be my next novel, man.
Agents
of Flonase.
Oh, my
I
goodness.
just imagine, like, giant noses coming after people, like, and just sniffing them up.
Would they be wearing the pork pie hats like the commercials, perhaps?
Perhaps.
Based on Liberteria...
Oh my gosh.
Is it safe to say that you'd rather dabble within a dystopian future versus utopian?
Oh yeah, utopian's totally fake. That's not gonna happen. I mean,
it could.
In Disney, like when everybody's happy, when like in real life, you know, no.
You don't think we'll all unite and hold hands in peace like Hands Across America from the 80s?
No, and if we did, they'd probably drop a chemical bomb on us 5 minutes later.
And who is they?
You know who they are.
Flonasians.
Flonasians. Oh, wow.
This one's a little tough. How did your parents respond to the film? And was there perhaps a subtler way other than a world stage to exercise your upbringing?
Oh, no. You had to go straight to the parent question. So my parents tend not to watch or see anything that I've created. It makes them cry, and it makes my mom upset. And that's assuming if they take the time to actually watch it. Now, when I was a kid, I was a percussionist, and I played in a lot of orchestras and bands, and they went to a lot of that stuff. But once I went to college and kind of became experimental with all my music and my art and my video, I took a path that they did not want me to follow. They wanted me to write church music all the time, which I have written some sacred music, a lot of it, but that kind of is not what I'm known for. So
I can relate to that. My mom tried to listen to the podcast when we did the podcast and turned the volume down after the first 16 seconds.
Oh, so okay.
The F-bombs were dropped, and I brought shame to the family.
Yeah.
Again. We talked about this during the bonus Facebook clip. I don't know how many bonus clips we can plug here. Were there any level 10 butterflies involved with your TEDx talk? And please expound on your term, peaches and Ewoks.
Okay, yeah, so I was trying to make a catchphrase because I'm stupid that way.
You were trying to make it a thing?
I was trying to make it a thing, and like peaches and cream, and then like Ewoks, and I thought it, and I wanted a Star Wars reference, but you actually, in TED Talks, because of you cannot push certain brands.
Licensing restrictions?
Yeah, there's licensing restrictions and things like that. So, for example, and I don't know if there's a specific one, but, if there's a specific company, let's say Apple or whatever, you can't promote that specific company. So I couldn't say Star Wars or something if it was a specific brand. But I had to mention something because I'm a total Star Wars nerd. So I decided to go with Ewoks. And it didn't go over well with the audience because it didn't make any sense, even though I had a graphic and everything that I made. But yeah, so there was that. As for butterflies, it was nervous and it was nerve-wracking. And as I mentioned, there were some technical glitches. So during the scene that they were supposed to show my opera, the actual sound didn't play. So I was like, oh, I've got a great opera here. It's better with sound. And then we just kind of moved on and stuff. And I was able to kind of recover, which was good.
You were very calm and collected throughout the entire
I don't know if I'm calm. Calm is not a word anybody ever associates with me.
Charismatic and energetic. Will you take that?
I will take charismatic and energetic.
Fair enough. Speaking of bonus clips, there are two wonderful bonus clips on the YouTubes for this. 46.1 and 46.2. 46.1 is a wonderful look at the works of Sabrina, narrated by Sabrina. And the second one is a sneak peek at the upcoming film Spiritus.
Yep.
Is it true that you're working on an opera after Spiritus that revives the castrati concept with Terry Kimmel attached as the lead?
Yeah, actually, I was kind of dismayed to see how deep his voice is, so we might have to work on some sort of operation afterwards to fix that.
Chemical castration, like Michael Jackson?
I'd hate to think that anything I had to do would go in that direction, but we'll have to discuss it at some point.
Great, we'll talk later.
That's a good idea.
Terry, you're taking all these notes. Is that the only sheet that we're seeing here?
Maybe.
Stream of consciousness
questions?
Yeah, that's right.
What do you have?
Right. What would you like to... Okay. Thank you for being here.
Oh, dear.
Know that you're loved by someone.
Thanks. Thank you.
What questions do you have?
I don't know. They're just like agents of Flonase, level 10 butterfly. I'm like peaches and Ewoks. What is that?
Are these the comments that you're going to blow the video up with?
It's like peaches and Ewoks. It's like...
You saw the TEDx talk, did you not?
No.
You should.
I didn't know I had to do research.
It's very interesting.
I'm just the co-host. I'm just here to be insulted. So,
not necessarily. Where do you get that from?
From you.
Okay, we have to. You know what? Here's a question for you.
Okay.
You recently moved to Grand Island.
Yes.
Did Lockport kick you out, or did your second cousin, the garbage monster from Fraggle Rock, want you back in his hometown? It's a fair question.
No, actually, it has a fairly serious reason. What happened was my dad passed away.
Okay.
And we inherited the house.
Thanks for killing the humor of this show.
That's right. No, sir. Well, I lived to do that. I lived to step all over your attempts.
There goes the pace.
That's right.
There goes the pace.
No, but I'm back in the house where I lived in when I went to high school. So it's back to the old homestead.
I see. That was a very straightforward answer that I did not want.
I'm afraid it was.
Back to Sabrina. Did you thrive under the collaborative pre-production and editing phase of Liberteria, or was it something of a relief to regain total control writing the Liberteria Chronicles?
I think that I really enjoyed doing the Liberteria opera, because I think it was the first time I was a director of that big of a production. I'd helped out with smaller live things in college, and I really enjoyed doing that. I think it also was a bit nerve-wracking because at the time I had my daughter, I think she was a toddler, and I wasn't having any sleep whatsoever. So it was great to kind of finish it. And then the reason I went on to do the books was that during Liberteria, I wanted to know my characters a little bit better. So I started writing sketches about the different characters. And it ended up that they had their own stories. And in fact, I would say that if you enjoyed Liberteria the opera, you probably would enjoy the book more, because I think it's better. But yeah, I had a chance to do that. And it's fun because I feel like... with the opera, it takes a lot of people, a lot of work, a lot of time. With the book, it's just me, and I can just kind of sit there and say, hey, I need to go coffee shop for 2 hours and write a chapter or two or whatever, and then it's done, and then I just kind of go to a writer's group or whatever, and we kind of look over it, and I do editing, but it's not a massive, prolonged process. I actually have an original opera that will be a prequel to Liberteria called Alicia and the White Rabbit, which is actually it's going to be an animated opera as well. It might be an interactive one if I can get a video game engine kind of thing going on. And it's actually supposed to be the story of Liberteria's great grandmother, a century before or whatever. And it's supposed to be a children's opera, so it's going to be kid friendly.
I hate to say this, but I think you need to monetize. You need to gouge people.
Yeah.
And shake them upside down and get some money out of them.
Well, yeah and no. I mean, what I typically do with Liberteria, I had some crowdfunding that we did. We had a lot of volunteers. And also, I just picked up extra jobs and just self-funded. And that allowed me to make it free. My problem is that a lot of times, with a traditional opera production, if I would have tried to make a live production of Liberteria, it probably would have been 6 figures. And it would have been way out of the scope of somebody. It would even be out of the scope of somebody who's a Grammy award-winning opera composer. There are those. And so it allowed me to make it free and make it available and make it open sourced.
You got yourself out there.
Right.
You're a superstar now.
I don't feel like that most days, but okay.
Well, it was a really good, I think, Terry, did you see it? Did you at least watch Liberteria?
Yes.
Yeah, I was going to say you saw it.
Thoughts and impressions?
It was good. No, it was cool. It was cool. It was neat. You prefer opera to let's say a musical?
Yeah. I feel like there's a lot of musicals out there, and a lot of them are very good, and they're good in that genre. I feel that opera was it's kind of like the grandfather to the musical, and it's really, and it's got this rich tradition, and also a lot of the music I like to write is still experimental. I really enjoy writing experimental music. I'm a percussionist, so I love writing rhythmic stuff and opera seems to tend to be more open to that kind of experimentation sometimes, while musicals, at least in America, seem to be more pop-driven.
Okay.
And even though I can write pop music, I just wrote a pop song called Avocado Toast Daydream.
Inspired by Trolls, correct?
Yes, inspired by Trolls. You kept up my Facebook post today.
Fucking hate that movie.
Yeah.
And I've had to watch it 45 times.
Yeah, we've only watched it 44. Anyway, but yeah, so I was writing for a client, and so they needed me to write a pop song. So I wrote a pop song, Avocado Toast Daydreams. And that was my week this week.
Did you watch the Trolls holiday special?
Of course. I have an 8-year-old.
That was bullshit. It was bullshit. It was an 8-minute special.
Is it going to replace the Star Wars Christmas special?
No.
I spent $10 and there's 4 piggyback clips to pad out the time. Don't you agree?
It was, yeah. Honey,
I feel very strongly about this.
I hope my daughter's not watching this. Trolls are okay, honey. They are.
I hope Justin Timberlake gets bowel cancer.
Honestly, okay, to be honest, I think he's actually using these movies to sell albums. I don't think the movies are made to be movies.
He's getting them while they're young.
Yeah. And he's selling albums because it's all one hit after another. I think and the storylines are not great. It's not like
The song is dog shit. It has no depth. Just dance.
Yeah,
That's
you
all
do
it's
not.
about. Dancing around. There's no message. All right, we got to get away from that. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I don't know what came over me.
Yeah.
Holy venting.
Wow.
Yes, that's interesting.
What can you tell me about your time as a lousy comedian, and do you realize you were a better comic than Daniel McArdle?
So when I was in college, I joined up with one of those comedy theater groups, and I remember we used to throw chickens, and I think it was called Alice.
Improv or sketch?
Improv. It was
Okay.
all improv, and I was on the B team because I was that bad. And then we would just go out there and do our thing, and if they didn't like it, they throw rubber chicken at us. And I actually never got to the point where I was good enough to go on stage live. I did a lot of rehearsals.
At one time, did you have a dream of being in a touring sketch comedy troupe?
No. It's just I have a long line of weird things that I've done. Like my very first job, I was a dancing rat for Chuck E. Cheese's.
I thought that was like some hashtag thing that you were doing.
No hashtag.
That actually
That
happened.
was true. I was, for my very first real job, I was a dancing rat.
I was a non-trademark dog at Walden Books.
Oh.
Just a big nondescript
Yeah.
dog with no
When?
working fan.
Oh, that's
that had to
funny.
be 90, 91.
No, I mean, like,
wow.
when did they do it? You didn't do that every day. They didn't have a
Easter,
mascot wandering
I
around.
think Easter.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, my boss actually wanted me to enter the National Chuck E. Cheese dance competition and not go to college, and do that instead because he thought that I'd promised as a dancing rat.
And we are no strangers to Chuck E. Cheese, are we not?
No, we're not.
It all comes full circle.
It does come full circle, unfortunately.
We are both, I assume, because you compose. Do you compose EDM as well?
Yeah, I compose everything except for I haven't composed a polka yet.
Yet.
I'm sure it'll happen, but I haven't done any polka music.
You have a full slate.
Yeah, pretty much.
We are both children.
I have a desire for polka music.
Yeah, I figured you'd probably say something like that.
We'll talk later.
Okay, commission me for polka music and I will write it.
Make it happen, Terry.
There you go.
Don't get in front of my question, Terry. We are both children of the magical musical era known as the 80s. Would you agree that the Pet Shop Boys were the founding fathers of techno, or do you feel the genre was predated by new wave forerunners?
I will just go with New Wave Forerunners on that one and not go too deep into the history of techno. It's been a while since I've written a thesis on it.
You don't have any strong feelings on the topic? Where do you plant your flag there in the 80s?
In the 80s?
For EDM, early EDM.
To be honest, at that time, I was into Madonna.
That's
I'm
okay.
just keeping it honest.
Hey, you're keeping it real.
And Gloria Estefan, because I was in South Florida, and she was a goddess to everybody that was Cuban. So.
When I was a kid, I was clapping to Private Eyes on the radio. Hall & Oates.
Oh, there you go.
Oh, no,
Takes us all
yes.
back.
There you go. Yep.
Monster hit.
Yeah. So.
It's
yeah.
okay.
And Michael Jackson too. I was really
Of
into pop.
course.
So
EDM came to you later in life, or you
yeah.
dabble in it?
No, it was later. It was when I was in college and stuff, and then I wrote some stuff in there, and actually I think what ended up happening was that I wrote a film score for a filmmaker called Caleb Lindsay, who's actually gone on to do some really amazing things, and he wanted a techno soundtrack, so I spent a year just listening to techno music to prepare for that soundtrack.
That's rigorous.
Yeah. The funny thing is that I have other pieces that are unrelated to techno all together and still have that doots, doots, doots behind it.
It's all about the BPMs.
Yeah, it is, actually. Oh, goodness.
Good times. Does the audience for Machinima include, allow, or segregate Tandy robot arms, Wallies, and less homicidal members of the Skynet demographic, audience-wise?
What was the question again?
Does the audience for Machinima include, allow, or segregate Tandy robot arms, Wallies, and less homicidal members of the Skynet demographic?
I would say that they're very important members of the audience.
It's inclusive of them?
Yes, of course, it has to be inclusive of them.
That's very good.
Yes.
That's a very politically correct viewpoint.
Well, if you read the books and stuff, which I don't know if you have, one of the comments, I had somebody review it, and one of the comments they made was that how I had a lot of characters that are like part cyborg and part robotic, and that it seems to be a very, not only like a diverse cast in terms of age and ethnicity, but also in just being human versus being a robot. And then in my second book, actually, we started playing with mutants too. So I have mutants going on as well. So it's a very, in fact, my third book, this is a spoiler, my third book, the main character actually fell in love with a mutant lizard man.
That was unexpected.
So I don't know, I'm all about it being inclusive.
This show only has one rampant commenter. But with you being all over cyberspace, you're vlogging on YouTube. You have the webs. You have SabrinaPennaYoung.wordpress.com.
Yeah.
And with Liberteria, how do you have you built up a thick skin for the comments? Are there a lot of trolls, a lot of stupid stuff that you sift through? You take the good and the bad.
To be honest, for the most part, I say most of it's positive. However, I do have one viral video. I don't remember how many views it has now. It's in this. It's a lot of videos. It's a lot. It's ridiculous. It's called Yoda Kills Jar Jar. And it was a video that my brother and I did for my sister's birthday that originally was part of a larger video called Yoda on Weed, where he loses his pants. Mm-hmm. And anyway, but I took the clip where essentially Yoda kills Jar Jar with a pencil to the music of Psycho, and that has had a lot of bad feedback. Although it's gone viral. You touched a
nerve there.
Yeah, apparently I touched a nerve, and I often have to, and it's from a YouTube account that I don't even use anymore, but I keep it up because of that one video, and I go on there every once in a while just to eliminate all the F-bombs.
So, is it bad comments because they don't like that he killed Jar Jar, or the fact that he doesn't use a lightsaber but uses a pencil?
I don't know. It's probably because it was a really bad video, but right. It has lots and lots of views, and the likes and dislikes are about 50-50. But yeah, I would say that...
Do people think it's clickbaity?
I think they think that we did it for real, like as a serious thing, and actually it was not serious at all. It was a birthday present. I just thought it was funny, so I took it out so I could share it, and it happened to catch on.
You unleashed a lot of negativity.
Apparently, but that really is the only thing, and since I really don't care about that, I think I'm good to go. So
that's good.
Yeah.
Have you thrown any grand mal tantrums or hotel trashings on par with the classical composers? And do you feel that your magnum opus is yet to come?
Ooh. Well, as for trashing things, I'm pretty good at not trashing things. Probably, I don't know why. Maybe because I've seen too many people trash things, and I appreciate people way too much. As for a magnum opus, I'm hoping that it's in the future, and I'm not really sure what it's going to be. I don't know if it's going to be a film or another animated opera, or I'd like to do a video game. Or, my books when I finish them, because I have about 8 or 9 planned out. The Liberteria series is probably going to go about 100,000 years into the future. And
that's all storyboarded or timelined?
It's written down in outline. Oh. And I have a 200-year timeline so far for the story. But I plan to take it to where there's going to be a book where one of the characters time travels backwards to the first book and tries to change everything from the first book but can't. Or maybe she can. And then, or maybe she causes the whole thing. And then, but the final book, what I want to do is take the genetics and all the crazy stories they had, and I don't know if you've heard about the, I think it's the 2045 group, where they want to essentially create immortality through avatars. And it's funded by a Russian billionaire. You got to check it out. Anyway, I'm a member of the consortium. Anyway, I'm a member of the consortium. Anyway, but yeah, so...
Is that the futurist mind meld?
I don't...
The consortium?
The Futurist Mind Meld. No, it's a 2045 initiative, I believe it's what's called. And it's a group of people that essentially they're trying to fund all this research, and they're meeting all these timelines so that way eventually we can achieve immortality through an avatar. Now, whether that happens or not, I don't know, but that's where Liberteria will take the story 100,000 years from now, where we're possibly floating consciousnesses or something.
And you're for that concept?
No, I think it's fun. I like sci-fi things because they're fun. I think it's interesting and weird, and I don't agree with all of it, but I think it's fascinating. Yeah.
Sabrina.
Yes.
As a member of the Buffalo movie and video filmmakers.
Yes.
Has Terry ever asked to borrow any of your Polaroid cameras, Lomos, Super 8s, or camcorders at a moment's notice? or the last minute? And did you accommodate him?
No, he hasn't asked for that so far. So far, so good. Probably because I don't really own any of that stuff.
Sorry, of the 3 people at this table, I don't know her that intimately enough to do that. So,
Did you figure out that GoPro?
well, I used it, yeah,
Uh-huh. Did you figure it out?
a little bit,
Wrap your head around it?
a little bit. And then I had to borrow Rhonda's camera because it wasn't quite conducive for narrative film.
There you go.
How did that little project turn out?
Well, I got some of it done, but I have to figure out the rest of it because I was impulsively making it up. So because I had the actor in town, and now he's gone.
I was gonna say that's the one you're doing with John, right?
Yeah, with John Carius.
Okay, yeah. I was wondering if you had an ending to that since you didn't have him.
I
you
have
could do the thing they did with
Nothing
Bela
ever
Lugosi.
ends with Terry.
Exactly.
Shut up.
With Bela Lugosi, where they had the guy with the thing there, you could just have somebody that's bald. and
It's
just
not
kinda-
quite. No, it's not quite that. I'm sure something
Fantastic.
ridiculous is gonna be there. But I have a title.
Oh, good.
Yeah, the
Working
resurrection of the Blue Agouti.
Oh, well, yeah, I did see that.
That's
You did
right.
mention that before.
That's right.
Yeah, I don't have a good enough camera yet or anything. I'm hoping to buy one soon, and then I'm sure he'll ask.
See,
Terry, is that hot on the heels of your 1987 short, Jack and Jill? Whatever that was called.
no, this is not that. No, that's a 2002 film that I haven't finished yet.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, the what is it? It's a parody of a thing. The Heart is a Lonely Devourer. That's the name of it.
My next book is going to be a bio about you, and it's going to be called In Pre-Production. How's that? No one would buy it. I'm sorry.
That's right.
I'm immediately sorry. Sabrina, have your 2 children informed your lack of time management skills?
My
Two younger kids. You have no time.
Yeah, I don't have a lot of time.
You
but-
just eliminated sleep altogether.
You don't need to sleep. Sleep is not important. Well, and also, too, like, my daughter's getting old enough now where she can actually do stuff. So, like, when we did the 48-hour film festival project, she got to play a demonic child. So that was a lot of fun. And actually, poor Ava, like, even when she was a baby, she actually ended up being in a lot of my pieces. When she was a baby, I recorded her crying and put her in one of my in my oratorio. And when she was 2, I recorded her voice saying the theme to an animated film called it's Monica, I think it's called, and it was by Rob Cabrera, who won an Emmy for his animation, and not for that particular project, but for another one. But yeah, she went and she is recorded saying Monica as part of the theme song, and then so she's kind of been dragged into everything so far.
I'm starting to get flashback to Michael Powell's Peeping Tom and how like the father tortures his son for research. Except for you, it's for your film.
No, she wants to do
soundtrack.
stuff. So anyway, but yeah. Oh, and in Spiritus, she actually plays the younger version of the main character.
What else can you tell us about Spiritus?
Spiritus is the story about an orphan who escapes to a dying exoplanet to escape the truth about her parents, and it's using machinima again. It's going to have a different look than Liberteria. Liberteria, I purposely kind of retrograded it to where it looked kind of a retro video gamey, boxy kind of a look. And this one, my daughter and I used her again, she and I made a whole bunch of watercolors, and then we imported them into the program.
The backdrops were beautiful.
Yeah, thank you. So all the backdrops are like that. The clothing of the design and everything, a lot of it has the watercolors in them. And so I tried to make the watercolors a part of the whole thing, so it kind of had a more artistic feel. And then I'm dumping it all into Final Cut, where I'm doing post-production with that in motion, in order to give it kind of a more cinematic quality. So I'm hoping it looks nicer. I've been working on trying to make my films look better. Like I did Murder Zone, which was shown at the Buffalo Dreams recently, and that one was one that, I really just made that film. It's a short film just to work on my cinematography and making animation look a lot better.
And you said Greg Lamberson was a tyrant with his submissions?
Troublemaker.
Did I mishear
Troublemaker.
that? Who?
You.
Yeah.
You are.
So, but Spiritus, it's a sci-fi. It's and it's coming out. I'm hoping I get to premiere it at the March contest. We have a VM Buffalo Movie Video and Movie Makers. I always say it backwards.
Buffalo Movie Video Makers.
Yeah, I know. I've said it backwards all the time.
I wonder if the Micro Machines guy could pull that off.
He probably could. I failed. But yeah, so that's how I'm hoping it'll be shown in March and stuff. So it's got a full screenplay that's supposed to be like 40 minutes long, but I think it's going to be closer to 25 or 20. We'll just have to see.
I think the way you should cash in on your projects, make one slight art directional change.
What's that, Terry?
And that is to make all your characters look like Disney animals.
Okay.
But they're still cyborgs and everything.
Oh, yeah.
And just everything else is the same, but they just look like...
I
think the merchandising will work better.
Yeah.
Sabrina, thank you.